When it comes to what men notice about women, the truth might be far from what you imagine. It's not your figure, your makeup, or even the way you dress that truly sticks in their minds. Men notice far deeper things. If you've been telling yourself it's all about appearances, you might be mistaken. Not only are you wrong, but you could also be the reason things aren't working out in your relationships. Let's talk about the raw reality of what men pick up on, whether you realize it or not. First, how you treat others, how you treat the people around you. If you think that how you treat the waiter, the cashier, or even your co-workers doesn't matter, you might be making a mistake. Men notice those little things, the subtle moments, like how you dismiss someone when they don't serve your purpose. Are you impatient with someone who gets your coffee order wrong? Do you roll your eyes when someone takes too long at the register? These small actions speak volumes, and if you're the type of person who only shows kindness to those who can do something for you, don't be surprised when men start pulling away. Here's the truth you might not want to hear. A man who respects himself is looking for someone who treats everyone with decency, not just the people who matter to her in the moment. If you're rude to others but sweet to him, he'll see right through it. That two-faced behavior doesn't scream high value or partner material. It screams selfishness. Deep down, he knows that one day, when he's no longer giving you what you want, you'll treat him the same way. If you've been overlooked or dumped by men you thought cared about you, stop blaming them. Start asking yourself whether you've been self-absorbed in the way you treat people. Are you kind because it's the right thing to do, or because you want something in return? Men notice this, and it's often the quiet reason they lose respect for you. The way you treat others is the most honest reflection of your character. Men with integrity won't tolerate a partner who doesn't live up to basic decency. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing that you care about the people around you, even when there's nothing in it for you. Next, how you handle stress. You can tell a lot about someone by how they act when things don't go their way. Men notice how you react to stress, not because they expect you to be unshakable, but because it reveals your ability to navigate life's challenges without spiraling out of control. Do you lash out, throw blame around, or crumble under pressure? Or do you take a moment to think, assess the situation, and move forward? No one wants to deal with someone who turns every inconvenience into a full-blown crisis. Men don't want to be your emotional punching bag when things go wrong. And if you've made a habit of unloading all your frustration onto others, don't be surprised when men start distancing themselves. It's exhausting being with someone who lacks emotional regulation, and sooner or later, they'll decide it's not worth the toll it takes. You might think, but I've been under so much pressure lately. Guess what? So is everyone else. The difference is in how you choose to handle it. When you let your emotions rule your actions, it doesn't make you seem passionate or authentic. It makes you come across as someone who's hard to be around. Men notice when you can't keep it together, and it makes them question whether you're capable of being a supportive partner during tough times. And then how self-absorbed you are. Let's be honest, most people are self-centered to some degree. But there's a difference between being confident in yourself and being completely absorbed in your own world, to the point where others feel invisible. Men notice when your actions and thoughts always circle back to you, especially when you're only interested in how things affect you and your life. The problem is, if you're always caught up in your own needs and desires, it's easy to miss out on what someone else might need. Men want to feel seen and heard, not like they're just part of the background of your life. When you're self-absorbed, it often becomes difficult for the other person to feel like they matter. Men are looking for someone who values them for who they are, not just as a source of validation. If you want a meaningful connection, you need to make sure you're also making space for their feelings and needs, even if it means putting your own thoughts aside sometimes. Now, let's talk about how you communicate. The way you express yourself and the words you choose are powerful. Men notice when you're clear about what you want, but they also notice when you withhold or play games. Do you make them guess how you feel, or are you direct and honest? Men appreciate openness and sincerity, especially when it comes to your emotions. If you want a man to stay engaged and invested, he needs to know where he stands with you. If you're constantly sending mixed signals or playing hard to get, it can leave him feeling confused and unsure. That uncertainty can cause him to pull away, unsure if you're truly interested or if he's just another option. Lastly, your emotional availability matters. Men notice if you're emotionally present in a relationship. Are you willing to open up, share your vulnerabilities, and let him see the real you? Or do you keep him at arm's length, afraid to let anyone see who you truly are? When you're emotionally closed off, it's hard for men to connect with you in a meaningful way. They may feel like they're walking on eggshells, unsure of how much they can give or how much you'll accept. And how everything seems to be going wrong in your life, men start to tune out. It's draining to always be around someone who focuses more on what's going wrong than what's going right. Relationships thrive on positivity and growth, and when you're constantly complaining, it creates a cloud of negativity that becomes difficult to escape. Men notice when the air feels heavy because of constant complaints, and if that's all you're offering, it can be hard for them to feel motivated to stay engaged. Complaints can come from frustration, but if they're a constant theme in your conversations, it signals an inability to look at the bigger picture. Men want to be with someone who can face challenges with a sense of resilience and a willingness to find solutions. If you keep focusing on what's wrong, you're not showing the emotional maturity it takes to weather the storms of life together. It's important to share your struggles, yes, but it's equally vital to express gratitude and acknowledge the positives. Men are drawn to those who can handle adversity without making it the center of attention. So if you find yourself constantly voicing complaints, think about whether you're doing it for the sake of connection or simply to vent. Men notice when you fail to acknowledge the good things, and that's when they start to retreat. Remember, a balanced perspective on life, acknowledging both the challenges and the blessings, helps to build a healthier, more fulfilling relationship. And lastly, how much you listen. If you think listening is just about nodding and waiting for your turn to speak, you're missing the point entirely. Men notice when you're genuinely engaged, when you're really hearing them out, and they also notice when you're not. If you're always interrupting, steering the conversation back to yourself, or zoning out when they're opening up, you're sending a message that says, what you're saying doesn't matter. Listening is one of the most fundamental ways to show respect, care, and understanding. If you can't be bothered to really listen to someone, why should they invest their time and energy into you? Men notice when you don't listen, and this is one of the quickest ways to make them feel unappreciated and undervalued. You might think you're being polite or just offering your own perspective, but men notice when your focus is entirely on your own thoughts instead of theirs. Being a good listener isn't just about hearing the words, it's about understanding the person behind those words, asking thoughtful questions, and showing that you care enough to truly be present. When you do this, you create a deeper connection and show that you value the person as much as the conversation. And finally, how you respect boundaries. Respecting boundaries is not just a nice thing to do, it's a vital foundation for any relationship. Men notice when you respect their space, time, and individuality, and they definitely notice when you don't. If you're the type of person who constantly calls, texts, or demands attention without considering whether the other person is busy or needs a break, you're not being considerate, you're being intrusive. It can feel suffocating to be constantly pursued without space to breathe. A man who feels smothered will eventually retreat. This doesn't mean he doesn't care about you, but he values his autonomy, just as you should. If you constantly need to know where he is, who he's with, or why he didn't respond right away, you're not showing love, you're displaying insecurity. Men notice when you display insecurity in this way, and it makes them feel less connected to you. Instead of showing love, you're showing a lack of trust. Healthy boundaries are essential for a lasting relationship. They speak to emotional intelligence and maturity. When a man sets a boundary, whether it's needing time to work, pursue his hobbies, or simply relax, It's not your job to take it personally or try to change it. When you respect his boundaries, it signals that you understand and trust him, and it also shows that you value partnership over control. Men notice when you honor their boundaries, and it strengthens the connection between you. It's one of the most attractive qualities you can possess in a relationship. It's not just about being the prettiest or having the perfect figure. What truly matters are the things you don't always think about, the way you treat others, how you handle stress, how self-absorbed you are, your ability to listen, and the respect you show for boundaries. These are the things that build strong, meaningful connections. Men notice these things more than you might think, and they play a bigger role in creating lasting, fulfilling relationships than you may realize. It's not just about how you look or what you wear. What truly captures a man's attention is your character, your kindness, and how you handle the ups and downs of life. If you want a deep, lasting connection, start focusing on the things that really matter. The way you treat others, how you handle stress, and how you communicate. Men notice these things more than you might think. And in the end, it's these qualities that will determine whether or not a relationship truly blossoms. Living. Life isn't always fair, and when you're constantly talking about how unfair it is or how people have let you down, you're not just venting, you're draining. Complaining doesn't make you relatable, it makes you exhausting. When all you focus on is the negative, it's not just your mood that suffers, your relationships suffer too. Men notice when you bring a cloud of negativity into every conversation. It makes them feel like they can never do enough to make you happy, and over time they stop trying. Why? Because it's easier to pull away than to constantly be the one trying to lift you out of your own misery. This doesn't mean you can't share your struggles or seek support. But there's a difference between sharing and wallowing. If you're always searching for something to complain about, you're training your mind and your partner's perception of you to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. Men admire women who are solution-oriented and resilient. They notice when you overcome challenges with grace and confidence, but they also notice when a woman drowns in self-pity and it turns them off. And then how you handle conflicts. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but how you handle it is what defines whether that relationship will thrive or fall apart. Men notice when you can't argue without turning it into a shouting match, or bringing up unrelated grievances just to score points. If your go-to strategy during a disagreement is to attack, deflect, or shut down entirely, you're not solving anything, you're escalating the problem. The truth is, conflict isn't about winning or losing. It's about resolution. Men notice when you can calmly express your feelings, listen to their perspective, and work together to find a solution. This doesn't mean you have to agree on everything, but it does mean you need to approach disagreements with maturity and respect. If you can't do that, you're not building a relationship, you're breaking it. And let's not forget about timing. If you're the type of person to bring up serious issues at the worst possible times, when he's stressed, tired, or distracted, don't be surprised if he starts avoiding you. Men notice when you're considerate of their mental state, and they appreciate it. On the flip side, they also notice when you disregard it, and that chips away at their willingness to engage with you. Your priorities matter too. Men notice what you prioritize in life. If your actions don't align with your words, they see right through it. If you say your relationship is important, but spend more time scrolling through your phone or gossiping with friends than nurturing your connection, he'll notice. Actions speak louder than words, and men are far more observant than you might think. People make time for what matters to them. If your priorities are out of sync with what you claim to value, don't expect men to stick around. They notice when you're more invested in your social media likes or career ambitions than in nurturing the relationship. This doesn't mean you can't have goals or a life outside of the relationship, but if he always feels like an afterthought, it's only a matter of time before he walks away. Men are drawn to women who are balanced and intentional. They notice when you make time for the relationship, even in the middle of a busy schedule. It's not about grand gestures. It's about consistency, showing up, being present, and genuinely valuing his time and effort speak louder than any words ever could. Finally, your integrity. Men notice your integrity, or lack thereof. Do you keep your promises, or do you constantly make excuses? Do you stand by your principles, or do you change them depending on who's watching? Integrity isn't just about honesty, it's about consistency, reliability, and doing the right thing even when it's inconvenient. Men notice when you say one thing and do another. If you promise to be there for him but bail the moment something better comes along, he'll remember. If you criticize others for their flaws but fail to acknowledge your own, he'll notice that too. Over time, these small betrayals of trust add up, eroding the foundation of the relationship. Integrity is attractive because it signals that you're dependable and grounded. Men are drawn to women who stand firm in their values and aren't easily swayed by outside influences. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest, consistent, and true to yourself. The things men notice first aren't about looks. They're about character. From how you treat others to how you handle stress and conflict, these traits reveal who you really are. If this knowledge has made you uncomfortable, that's a sign to reflect and make changes. Growth comes from facing the truth, and while it might sting, it's the only way to build a life and relationships that are worth having. When it comes to relationships, there's always so much more than meets the eye. It's not just about the external, the superficial things that may seem important at first glance. It's about how deeply you connect, how you make someone feel, not just with words, but through actions that resonate and linger. Men notice so much more than what you might think. While we often get caught up in the way we look or how we present ourselves, what truly matters is the essence of who we are and how we treat the people around us. You might think that being perfect is the key to capturing someone's attention, but let me tell you something. It's not about perfection. Men aren't looking for flawless beauty, a picture-perfect life, or the most impressive resume. They're looking for authenticity, integrity, and the kind of person who not only shines for themselves but makes others feel seen, heard, and valued. When you stop focusing on trying to be someone you're not and instead lean into your true self, that's when connections are made. The way you communicate plays a pivotal role in your relationships. And communication isn't just about speaking your mind, it's about listening. Men notice when you engage with them, not just with your words, but with your presence. If you're constantly distracted or only half listening, you're sending a subtle message that you don't truly care. Relationships thrive when there's mutual respect, and the cornerstone of respect is truly listening. The ability to listen, to hear beyond the words and truly understand someone's feelings can create a bond that lasts. It's not just about waiting for your turn to talk. It's about showing empathy and understanding, and men pick up on that more than you might think. Moreover, men notice how you handle life's pressures. No one is exempt from stress. It's a part of life. But how you handle that stress, how you deal with challenges, can be a determining factor in how strong your relationships are. Men notice if you are able to keep your composure in difficult situations. When life throws curveballs, do you take a deep breath, step back, and find a way to move forward? Or do you let your emotions control your reactions, making the situation harder than it needs to be? Emotional stability is a cornerstone of a healthy relationship. And when men see that you can handle tough situations with grace, it creates a sense of security and admiration. But if you're constantly reacting impulsively, if stress leads you to lash out or withdraw, it can create a toxic environment. Men don't want to feel like they have to walk on eggshells, always unsure of when your next emotional outburst might occur. It's exhausting, not just for them, but for yourself too. When you find balance in how you handle stress, it's not just about keeping things calm for the sake of the relationship. It's about creating a sense of emotional safety for both partners. That's something men really value. One thing that men also pay close attention to is how you handle conflict. And believe me, conflict is inevitable. It doesn't matter how perfect your relationship may seem. Disagreements are a natural part of any partnership. But it's not the conflict itself that defines the relationship. It's how you handle it. Men notice if you're the type who can express your feelings without turning the situation into a full-blown argument. Do you approach conflict with respect, or do you let your emotions take over, turning every disagreement into a battle of wills? The key here is maturity. When conflicts arise, can you stay calm, present, and willing to find a resolution, or do you turn the situation into a power struggle, digging in your heels to win at any cost? Relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, and men notice when you can disagree without attacking. They appreciate when you can listen, hear their side, and come together to solve the issue, because that's the foundation for a healthy, long-lasting relationship.